Hey y'all, welcome back to the Banter with Brooke podcast. My name is Brooke Polis. I am the host of this podcast, and thank you so much for joining me today. This episode today is going to be relationship advice, and I've been really wanting to do this episode. I feel like I just have a lot of opinions and I have very high standards when it comes to relationships. Actually, I've never been in a serious relationship, which that's kind of another reason I wanted to do this episode, because I thought it would be kind of funny just to give relationship advice, or to get relationship advice from someone that has never even been in a serious relationship. Also, this is just something I want to preface with that has nothing to do with the episode. Me and my brother have been on like a Mario kick recently, and so to honor that, I'm wearing this shirt. Let me hold it up for you. It says "Get a Life," and there's the little 1-up, which the little green mushroom is a 1-up in Mario, and it gives you an extra life. So my friend made it for me. Actually, the same friend who got me this on air sign made it for me because I showed her a picture of me when I was a kid, and it was like a little like nightgown, and it literally had this on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I miss that. Like it was such a cool thing, and she literally made it for me for my birthday, which was insane. Like, oh, I love it. But oh geez, but sorry, I feel like I'm all over the place today. I posted on my Instagram story a Google form link, and I said, give me any questions, thoughts on all things relationships. And I got 8 responses. So thank you so much to the people who took the time to give me a response so I could make this episode. And I wrote them all down for you guys. And I'm just going to go through and give you my opinions and my advice on these certain topics. I'll probably come up with more as we go along. So the first one says long distance, trusting your partner, etc. And I feel like this is a hard one for me to talk about because I haven't really been in a relationship, but I feel like just that could be like a whole thing in itself. Like, to have long distance be successful, you need to trust your partner. Like, you just have to understand that you guys both love each other and are loyal to each other. And I think that's just how you're going to be able to make long distance work. I feel like long distance relationships might work better if you were together first, and then you like were together for like a while, and then you had to do long distance because you already know what it's like. But I feel like relationships that kind of start long distance might not last as long because it's like, okay, well, we never get to see each other. But that's just my opinion. I feel like I would be able to do long distance easier if I was with the person first, because I already know what it's like to be with them. And I think long distance can work, and I've seen it work, but it definitely is hard. And I think to make it work, like I said, you need to have trust, you need to have communication, trusting your partner as well. I think the only way to trust your partner is by having open and honest communication with each other. And I know literally every person ever will say that, like, communication is key, but like it literally is, because how the hell are you going to know what your person's thinking if you're not communicating with them? So yeah, that's my opinions on that. I'll probably have more to say on that later on. But next one is how to live in the moment and stop worrying about the bigger picture. That's a great response. So thank you to whoever sent that one in. I feel like that is something I used to really struggle with, and I still honestly kind of struggle with. But I would say just choosing to shift that mindset, because when you worry about the bigger picture, keyword worry, like it's miserable. Like, no one wants to be worried and like sad and like anxious all the time. Like, I think if you really just realize like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing this right now, And when you notice that you're worrying about the bigger picture, like whoever submitted this, if you realize like that you're worrying about the bigger picture, make like, if you notice it in the moment, be like, okay, stop thinking about this. Let me focus on right now, because I feel like that has made a huge difference in my mental state. So I feel like how to live in the moment and stop worrying. I think just filling your days with things that you like to do, things that you enjoy to do, keeping yourself busy, all those things will help you try and live in the moment. And also the bigger picture and the future and everything, like that is completely out of everyone's control. Like the more you worry about it, it's not going to change the outcome. Like whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So I would say that you just need to realize that. And when you try and worry about the bigger picture and get all nervous, because I kind of get like that too. Like I'm only 20, but I'm like, okay, if I don't meet somebody within the next couple of years, like what the hell? Like I get stressed out about that too. And like, it's fine. Like we have time. Everyone has time. Like even if you're in your 30s, 40s, like you have the time. But sometimes, yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I want kids. I want to get married one day. And I'm like thinking about all that. Like, when am I going to meet someone? Because like I said, I've never been in a serious relationship. So I'm just like, okay, it's out of my control. The right person will come when they're going to come, and everything will be okay. I'm thirsty as fuck. So hold on. I had to get my coffee before I started filming. But yeah, I just feel like realizing that it's out of your control and filling your days with things that make you happy and fulfill you will help you to stop worrying about the bigger picture. Everything will be okay. The universe is always on your side, and the bigger picture is out of your control. So the more you like, whenever you feel yourself start to like worry about the future and the bigger picture, just say to yourself like, this is all out of my control. There's nothing I can do about it. I just have to make the best out of each day. And also like worrying about the bigger picture and like relationships, like I'm going to take that as like you're with someone and you're worried like, oh, what are they going to like, are they going to leave me in the future? Like when we have kids and stuff. I feel like that, how to stop worrying about that, I'm not really sure, because I feel like I would honestly probably be doing the same kind of things. Because I always think about that. I'm like, okay, so I'm in my 20s now, right? Say I'm 20. I meet someone like next year, this year or something. We're together for like 3 years. We get engaged or something, like things are moving, and then we break up. I don't want to have to restart and do all that all over again. If I'm like 25, I have to restart, wait to meet someone all over again. Like that idea of that really does stress me out. Like I'm just hoping the next person I meet just is the one and we're just forever, because I can't restart. I can't do that. So I think just honestly, if you even communicate, just like talk about your feelings with your partner, I think that will really, really help. And also realizing that everything will be okay. Like even if the bigger picture doesn't come out how you planned, it will be okay, and things happen how they're supposed to happen. So I feel like if you just like if you just live your life how you live it, don't worry about anything else, everything will fall into place. And if you break up with someone, guess what? I guess you were just, that person was not meant to be your forever person, and that is okay. It'll be hurtful and you'll have to take the time to heal from that and grow, but just realize that it's okay and it's not the end of the world. You need to have happiness within yourself, and you need to be okay within yourself, because if you just look for your happiness with your partners, like getting external validation like from people like being in a relationship with you, then you're never going to be fully happy, and you're just going to settle for mediocre relationships just to fill like a void within yourself. So that's another way to help you live in the moment. I feel like it's just focusing on things that are good for you, and then the rest of it will fall into place. So I hope that answered your question. The next one is how to maintain personal identity while in a relationship or just anything related to relationship and self. Okay, so that kind of goes along with what I just said about like doing things for yourself. I think that is a huge, huge thing. I always say this. I feel like a relationship, a lot of people, when they get into relationships, they, first of all, drink fucking however many times I say relationship. First of all, drink however many times I say relationship in this episode, and you'll be blackout drunk because I'm gonna say it every 5 seconds. But I always say that when people get into relationships, sometimes they literally make it their whole personality. Everything they do is with that person. Everything they post is with that person. Everything they talk about is their partner. And it's like, oh my gosh, like anyone that knows me in real life, if I ever get like that, please smack me in the face, because that is so saddening to me, to be honest. I think your relationship should be a part of your life. It shouldn't be your whole life. Like when I do get into a relationship, I want, like, you are an addition to my life. Like I am whole as myself. I don't need like another person to fulfill me. I'm good. And same with my partner, my future partner. I don't want them to be so obsessed with me that everything they ever think about or want is me. I want them to be their own person and me to be my own person. And then we have our relationship together. So I think that's a way to maintain your personal identity, is just remembering like and also everything is temporary. Like I also said, so you need to just like, you could break up tomorrow. And then what are you going to do when you made your whole identity your relationship? So I think you just need to be doing things for yourself, communicating with your partner that you want alone time sometimes. Just like you don't have to be with the person and doing things with your partner every single day. I think it's great to be apart. I also literally always think, I'm like, I don't get how people sleep in the same bed with their partner every single day for like their whole entire lives. Like, unless I have a fucking California king bed and where you can be all the way apart. Because I also think it's very important to be able to have space from someone when you're in a relationship. Like, if you're around someone all the time, like you're bound to argue. And that's another reason why I think that'll help with yourself and relationships is, I actually don't even know what the hell I was saying or where I was going with that. But, oh yeah, just you need time to be separate from your partner, because when you're around someone so much, you're bound to argue and bound to fight. And so I think giving each other space will make the relationship just healthier in general. Like I always say, like either we need like a guest room or something, or I'll sleep on the couch, because like instead of just arguing and saying hurtful things to each other that we don't mean, I'd rather just be like, I'm upset right now. Let's just have some space apart. Because I feel like a lot of people, this might be controversial to say, but I don't really believe in like breaking up or like divorce unless obviously there's something terribly wrong. Like if you literally cheated on me or like abusive or something like that. But I think just if you're able to communicate, like if something you did is bothering me, I'm going to tell you, and vice versa. If I do something that's bothering you, I would love for you to tell me and communicate and fix it, because love is a feeling, yes, but love is also choosing to be with that person. Like there's obviously a million other attractive people in the world, and it's normal to acknowledge that and like think other people are attractive while in a relationship. I think that's another thing. Like some people are so over the top jealous and crazy with it. Like you can't even look at anyone else, like do anything. And it's like crazy. Like when I'm in a relationship, I want us to look at other hot people together and be like, damn, she's so hot, and like agree. Like, well, I'm also just not really a jealous person. And I think jealousy also is very toxic in relationships. I think there's no reason to be jealous or like crazy like that unless they're giving you a reason. If they have like if they are like sus and like have cheated before on their last relationship or something, whatever, I would understand that you being jealous a little bit more. But I think jealousy is a very, very toxic behavior. And if you are having those feelings of jealousy, you should communicate that with your partner and say, like, because it's all about boundaries too. You have to set boundaries within a relationship. So if you like say to someone like, these are my boundaries, I don't want you to do this, and they disrespect those boundaries, then maybe, I don't know, it's not the person for you. But just communicating is really what it's all about. But so if you're jealous, like, I don't know, I'm just not jealous, I'm not anything, but I just think having separate like space from your partner will help you maintain your personal identity, and realizing that like the main thing is realizing that your relationship is not your identity. You are your own person, they are their own person, and then you have your relationship together. I think relationships ultimately fail when they start to get too obsessed with each other, because they end up losing themselves, and then that's when they start to feel confused, like, who even am I, and then all this stuff. So I think if you make sure, because I know if you make sure to communicate with your partner, like, I don't want my whole life to turn into you, and I don't want your whole life to turn into me, then I think you will be able to maintain your personal identity. Again, I don't know if I'm answering those, but I don't know if that's going to help you or what, but I hope everything I'm saying is helping you guys, whoever submitted these questions. And even if you didn't submit anything, and people watching this that are in a relationship, I hope you're taking some of these things into consideration, because being toxic is not cute at all. Like, some people try and be like so protective, like so like jealous, so like, and that is not cute, at least to me. Maybe some people like that, but like, no, that is so unattractive. Like, someone who's secure with themselves is so much more attractive to me. Fucking texting me every day, where are you, what are you doing, like, oh my God, that shit will actually drive me up a wall. And I think sharing location is great. I'll share my location with you. So I don't need you to be calling me, texting me, all this stuff. Where are you? What are you doing? Like, look at my location. That's it. I'm also not a fucking cheater. I know so many cheaters, so many people that have cheated. Weird. That shit makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. If you want to sleep with multiple people, break up or don't be in a relationship. That fucking simple. Like, cheating actually blows my mind, and I know way too many people that have cheated, and it's really actually makes me uncomfortable. But just, that shit's not cute, okay? Just don't be a cheater, don't be toxic, don't be any of that. Like, those relationships, sure, might be fun, but like, ultimately, in like a life partner, someone I want to marry and spend the rest of my life with, I cannot stand those qualities. Like, I am not going to cheat. If you are texting me all the time, what are you doing? Oh, making me like jealous, whatever. Or like, if you're acting so jealous, like, because I'm not a jealous person, like, do whatever the fuck you want, please. Like, I'm just going to ultimately trust you, and you have to ultimately trust me, because if we're always on top of each other, what are you doing? What are you doing? And also, I'm not going to be texting you every minute of the day. Don't be spamming my fucking phone. I have a life to live. I'm doing stuff. Obviously, like, text, we can Snapchat, we can talk. Like obviously, normal relationships communicate daily, talk to me daily. But like, if I don't answer within like 10 minutes and you're texting me 7 times, 8 times, hello, 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 like, I was probably in the shower or something. You know what I mean? Like, people are just crazy. I used to know someone that would literally get so mad and be like, oh, she's definitely fucking cheating on me, all this stuff. And she was literally taking a nap. Like, please, you have to be delusional and dumb. Like, I don't know. And like, actually, crazy thing, they were cheating. So for them to assume that she was cheating makes sense, because if you're not cheating, whoever, ladies, gentlemen, they, thems, whoever's listening to this, if you're in a relationship and you are not cheating, you haven't given your partner any sign that you're cheating, but they're coming up to you always accusing you of cheating, they're cheating. 9 times out of 10, I bet you they're the ones cheating. So that's just a preface. Maintain personal identity or just anything related to relationship and self. Yeah, I think to have a healthy relationship, you need to prioritize yourself and your needs. And I think that will make the relationship ultimately healthier and better. And I hope that helped. Next one, I have a couple that my friends left their name. They like told me who it was and then said it, but I'm not going to say their names just in case they don't want me to, but I think they just wanted me to know, but I'm not going to say it out loud. So my one friend said, I think you should talk about how it's okay to outgrow people / how to let go of old friends. And I feel like I might have touched a little bit on this in a different episode, but just like how I was saying, like if you're with someone, you could break up the next day. Like I think just when you become so secure with yourself, you will realize so much how okay it is to outgrow people. And it's honestly freeing. And a lot of the times when I look back at like friendships of mine that have ended and I was so sad, now that I'm like so far removed from them and I like think about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so like, you can really see all the bad. And I'm like, wow, I'm so happy that I'm out of those friendships. So I think a lot of times when you outgrow people, because like I also said previously, the universe is always on your side. It always has your back. So I think the universe was hearing conversations that you didn't hear and push those people away from you for a reason. And allow yourself to heal. And if you lose a friend or lose a partner, it's very, very sad. But I think you should just realize that like, it's okay. Everything is temporary. People aren't supposed to be in your life forever. It is okay. Grieve it, be sad about it, and then move on and jump back like the bad bitch you are, because you only have yourself ultimately at the end of the day. And how to let go of old friends. I think if you are feeling like there's like a disconnect, because that's happened with multiple of my friends as we've gotten older, like we felt like there wasn't really just a little bit of distance or a little bit of we weren't compatible anymore. And we talked about those things and now we're all still friends. It happened with 3 of my friends and we're all still great friends. And I would argue they are 3 of my best friends in the world. So I think first, if you don't want to let go of the old friends, communicate with them and try and fix it and say, hey, I'm feeling kind of a disconnect. What's going on? But if you don't want to be their friend anymore, like you want to let them go, then I think you don't really owe them anything. I think just starting to slowly distance yourself from them if you don't want to hurt their, like if they did something wrong, tell them and say, I don't want to be your friend anymore. But if they didn't and you just aren't vibing with them anymore and you just want to let them go, I think just slowly distancing yourself so you don't hurt their feelings by telling them you don't want to be friends, just focusing on yourself. If you just tell them, like if they ask you to hang out and just tell them that you're busy. And I think slowly distancing is very healthy and normal. And I think outgrowing people, again, it's okay. It's normal. People's personalities change and grow. And I think if you feel, always trust your gut. If you feel in your gut that you're done, your time is done with this person, you've outgrown them, then I think that's completely fine. And I think how to let go of old friends. I think just like I said, distance them. And if you don't want to let them go, talk to them first. And if they get mad or say something like, I can't believe you're feeling like that, whatever, then that's how you know they shouldn't be your friend, because a true friend would communicate with you back and try and resolve it. So that's my advice. You know who sent that one. You know who you are. That's my advice for how to outgrow people and how to let go of old friends. Next one also left their name, so shout out to you. She said, what is your stance on significant others not allowing their partner to go out without them? Bars, clubs, etc. Ugh, that is so annoying, to be honest. Like, If I was with someone and they didn't let me go out without them, I'm breaking up with you. Straight up. Like I said, I also have high standards and whatever, but like you are not, they are not like your owner. You know what I mean? They're not the boss of you. They can't tell you, like, relationships, when they tell you what you can and can't do, can and can't wear, like, when are you going to fucking draw the line? Like, I think that's what scares me about that, is not letting you go out without them. Okay, what are you going to tell me next? What I can't wear? Oh, what I can't eat? What I can't, like, just no. Like, you are not the boss of me. You are not able to tell me what to do. It ultimately comes down to trust. And I think if your partner, like, is telling you, I don't want you to go out without me, I encourage you to sit them down and say, why? Do you not trust me or something? Like, I don't know. I think that's just, and then I think that would ultimately be a talk that you have to have with your each, like, individual relationships. But my stance on that is it's weird and it's gross and I don't like it. Like, your partner not letting you go out without them. Ugh, like, ew. I'm my own person. I don't want to be, like, attached to you, do everything with you. Like, especially, like, going out alone in general is kind of like, I don't know, but like, if you want to go out with your friends and your partner's like, no, I need to come with, weird. Like, I don't want to be with you all the time. Like I said previously, I think to have a healthy relationship, you have to be away from them sometimes. And so, and I also, like I said too, I'm not a jealous person. So I go out, do stuff. I have your location, so it'll be good. But like, I just don't automatically assume you're going to cheat. And the ones who don't let you go out because they think like they're going to cheat are probably the ones cheating, to be honest with you. And if they're worried about other people coming up to you, literally, like, I don't know. Like, I'm my own fucking person. If someone comes up to me and I'm in a relationship, I'll literally say, sorry, I'm in a relationship. Stop talking to me. Like, I don't just understand how people just don't have basic respect for their partners, basic respect for themselves. My stance on that is I think it's stupid. I think you should be allowed to go to the bar, go do things without your partner. And if they have a problem with it, I think communicate that with them. And then another thing is like, okay, where does the line stop then? Because what did they say? Oh, you can't wear that. Like, that shit's weird too. Controlling is like ew, why are you controlling? Like, I don't know. That shit's just weird behavior. Do not try and tell me where I can go, what I can wear. If I'm ever with the guy and he's like, you can't wear that, I'm literally going to look him in the face and said, who the fuck asked? Because I didn't. Like, ugh, gross. I don't like that. And the person who sent this left their name, and I know that they're with a person right now. So if your person that you're with is like that and doesn't let you go out without them, you probably should talk to them about it, because that is not cool. You guys should have trust in the relationship and know that you wouldn't do anything, and just have open communication about it. I think that's gross. And you can go and do whatever you want as long as you're loyal and trusting and good to your partner ultimately. Next one. What would you do if you're in a relationship and you don't have proof that he's cheating, but you just have a feeling that something's going on? How would you approach it? That's kind of tough. I think don't have proof that he's cheating, but you have a feeling something's going on. First, I would acknowledge you to think, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling like there's something going on? If you notice shit that he's like hiding his phone or something, or he's being kind of distant from you or something, then I think I would ultimately try and bring it up first. I would ultimately try and bring up and say, like, hey, you've been acting kind of weird. Like, especially, like I said, if he's given you like reasons. Oh, well, you said don't have proof. Okay, yeah, no proof, but if he's giving you like little hints, like, then I think it's okay for you to be like, you've been hiding your phone, like you've been acting kind of weird, like, is there something going on? And if he gets all mad, or she, honestly, you know, it could be, oh, they said he, proof that he's cheating. Okay, so yeah, if he gets all mad and is like, why would you say that? Why would you accuse me of that? Blah, 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 blah. That's fucking sus. If he's innocent, he would say, what do you mean? Like, he would show you and be like, there's nothing going on. Like, I'm sorry I've made you feel that way. At least that's what I would do. And that's what a normal, healthy, not toxic person would do. If I was in a relationship and someone, if I genuinely wasn't cheating and someone was literally like, you've been acting kind of weird, I'd be like, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. I haven't been trying to act weird at all. I literally take my phone. You can look. Nothing's going on. I'm so sorry. Is there anything you want me to work on? Like, that's what my response would be. So if he's innocent, he should be like, I'm sorry, babe. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, I can show you. If he gets like, why would you ever think I was cheating? Like, blah, 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 blah. That's fucking sus. And you might need to keep an eye on him a little bit closer. Also, just to like, if you are feeling like iffy in the relationship, like, you might need to leave. Also, if he is again being defensive and saying like, oh, why the fuck would you think that? Maybe you can go through his phone. And I know that's toxic, but maybe not even go through it, but just like take a little peek, you know? Maybe go through even on your phone, if you go through like who he's following or something. I don't know. I think if they're giving you, there's no proof, but they're giving you a little bit of reason to suspect that they're not being loyal, then I think you have a little bit of a right to pry and snoop a little bit just to be safe. But I think only do that if you approached and asked him about it first. And if he was being all weird and gross about it, then I think then that's when you can maybe do a little snooping. But I would approach it by saying something to him and say, you've been acting kind of off. I feel like there's something going on. And then depending on his reaction is, whatever his reaction is would show, like, would decide the next steps I was going to take. So I hope that helps. And whoever submitted that, I'm sorry. I hope he's not cheating, because you don't deserve that. No one deserves to be cheated on. And I hope that helped. And I hope that makes sense on how I would approach it. Next one is also from a friend that left her name, but I'm not going to say the name, obviously. She said, met this guy who I'm like in love with, but the sex is low-key not great. I don't know how to tell him what to work on because I really care about him and don't want to make him feel bad. First things first, I'm also not a very sexual person. Like, I feel like that doesn't matter to me that much. Like, so I feel like if you're genuinely in love with him, then I think you might have to just sacrifice that the sex might not be that great. But if you are with a great guy, at least for me, the sex wouldn't matter as much if I'm literally like, wow, this guy is perfect. He's so nice, so caring. I feel like I wouldn't care as much about the sex, but I don't know how to tell him because I care about him, don't want to make him feel bad. I feel like if you honestly said that too, if you just like approached it and said like, hey, like, I really don't want to make you feel bad at all. And like, this is not trying to be rude at all, but like maybe, or maybe you could say it in like a nice way. Like, I'm not trying to be rude at all, but maybe we can add some spice to our sex life, you know, like suggest things or like things that you know that you like during sex. You could be like, ooh, like, can we try this? Like, because I also think for a long lasting relationship, you need to be open and comfortable about having those type of conversations as well. So I think if you tell them like, I really want to try this in bed, and also practice makes perfect. And I think if you also, like you said, are in love with him I think the longer you're together and the more times you have sex with each other, sorry, I'm a little awkward because I think some of my family watches this, so talking about sex is just a little weird. But, I'm going to answer, give the people what they want. So I think the sex will get better over time if you, like, the more you're together and the more you do it. And I think approaching it by, if you don't want to straight up tell him that it's not that good, just say like, "Ooh, can we add this or can we do this?" And maybe that will help. But that's probably what I would do. And also for me though, like, I'm not very sexual. Like, maybe that's because I've never been like in love, and maybe if I was in love I would want to have sex more, but I don't know, I just feel like that doesn't matter to me at all. Like, we could literally have sex like 3 times a year. Okay, actually that's probably a little more than that, but like, I would never like care. Like, the sex doesn't matter to me, like the relationship matters to me way more. So yeah, that's what I would do, and I hope it goes well for you, girl. I hope that helps you. I hope what I would do is literally just be like, "Hey, let's try this." Especially if you really do care about him and really like him and like can see yourself being with him for a long time, then that's the approach I would take. Or if that doesn't work and it's still bad after that, then I would just say you might got to make that sacrifice. And I mean, there's sex toys for a reason. So if you just need to pleasure yourself to, and like that just is what you have to do. If you really love him and he's a great guy, then the sex aspect I think is not that important, and you can use a vibrator instead. Hope that helps. Next one is, actually, this is the last one. It says, there's kind of a statement first and then a question. It says, trust is more important than loyalty. Someone can say they're loyal, but if you aren't in a trusting relationship, it doesn't matter. Distrust will ruin your relationships. Question for you. What are the top 3 things that every relationship needs? Honesty, stability, communication, etc. Thank you for the submission, whoever wrote this one. And I do think trust is more important. I think someone can say they're loyal, but if you're not trusting, it doesn't matter. Actions speak way louder than words. And I feel like a lot of times people who are like accusing their partner of cheating and stuff, like, that is very, they're like, "Oh, I'm not cheating," but they are cheating. So it really is, the actions speak louder than words. So I agree, if they're saying one thing but they're not acting trustworthy and showing that they trust you, then I agree. I think that trust is more important. What are the 3 things that every relationship needs? Number 1, I would say, is communication, and communication openly and honestly about everything. I think you need to be completely open with someone, which I know it's hard and it's very vulnerable and it's scary, but I think that is, if you want the relationship to last, that's just something you are going to have to do, even if it's vulnerable and even if it's scary. Talk about your feelings, talk about what makes you happy, what makes you sad. Like, communication is truly key, and not even for romantic relationships, even platonic, like friendships. Like, communication is just key for all types of relationships. So I think that is definitely number 1. Number 2, I think every relationship needs to be, I think respect would be number 2. I think just respecting each other's differences, respecting each other's boundaries, respecting each other's opinions on certain things, because as human beings, we disagree on things a lot. And I think it's healthy for you and your partner to not be on the same page about every single thing. But I think just respecting each other's opinions on that is, obviously some things are different, like morally and all that stuff. I think you need to be on the same page with someone, but just like random things, like just respect each other's opinions, respect each other's boundaries, respect each other as people. I feel like a lot of men don't really respect their women. They talk about them so horribly, talk about them like objects, talk about them like, oh, this bitch did this, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that is so unbelievably disrespectful. And if I ever found out I was like talked about that way, or even to my face, like if we're in a fight and you have the audacity to disrespect me, call me names, call me a bitch, even if you like yell at me, like, I don't like that at all. I think we can communicate like adults. We don't have to yell. We don't have to argue. We don't have to do all that. So I would say respect, communication, and I would say like laughter and like happiness, because I think if I'm going to be with someone for the rest of my life, you need to make me happy and make me laugh. Like, I don't want to, like, I think that's a huge thing. And I also think that makes someone like way more attractive. You could be literally a 4 out of 10, but if you're funny, you are so hot to me, like genuinely. And vice versa. If you are a 10 out of 10, so hot, but you are actually the biggest douchebag, you are literally a 2 out of 10. Like, you are so unbelievably gross to me. Like, that's another thing. Like, so I would say, yeah, my top 3 things every relationship needs is communication, respect, and laughter and happiness. I think those will help make the relationship healthy and last. And what I was going to say is literally just all of you listening to this, please just raise your standards and like realize that, because a lot of people I think unfortunately just put up with a lot because they think that this is the best they're going to get, and that is not true. And also, for those of you who think that, like, it is okay to be single as well. Like, I think people are like, oh, well, this is the best relationship I'm going to get, so I'm just going to stay in it. It's like, no, you shouldn't settle for the best you're going to get. You should be happy and overwhelmed with joy in your relationship. So that's another thing that makes me sad, is people who literally jump from relationship to relationship to relationship because they think they like need someone else to make them happy. It's like, no, find that happiness within yourself, and then that will make you a better partner in the long run. So raise your standards, take care of yourself. Don't be with anybody who is jealous, who's toxic, who's controlling, who's abusive, verbally or physically, because verbal abuse is also a real thing and it's terrible. And I think you should throw those people, even in friendships, people who are just toxic, gross, like, throw them out. Don't want those type of relationships in our lives. And hold on. And a lot of people watching this, or maybe they won't watch it, but a lot of my friends are in relationships. And I just want to tell some of y'all, I'm not saying names, some of y'all put up with way more shit than I would ever put up with. And again, maybe that's why I'm still single, but I'm not lowering my standards because I want to be happy with my relationship. I'm not going to settle. I'm so content and secure and happy with myself and my morals. You are an addition to my life. If you come in to my life where I'm already so secure and happy, and you come into my life, start being jealous, controlling, immediately gone. Like, I don't want you to stress me out, do all that stuff. So I think if your relationship, your partner is being controlling, stressing you out, like obsessive, always needs to be around you, know what you're doing at all times, I think you might need to realize and think about that a little bit and be like, okay, is this really what I want for a life partner? And yeah, that was my take on all of those questions and submissions I got. Thank you so much to the people who submitted a response. And I also would love to do a part 2 to this somewhere along down the line, because I feel like I have a lot of opinions on this topic, and maybe the next one I'll be in a relationship and I can give you guys real stuff from my personal relationships. So the advice I have for the end of the episode, I actually wrote 2 things down. Is the first one is it is a partnership, and in parentheses I put no leaders. Like, it is a partnership. No one should wear the pants. No one should, okay, well, my light just died. I need to be way better about charging that thing, but the podcast is almost done, so it's fine, right? Right. Just sorry that the lighting is a little bit bad for these last couple minutes, but I think like it is a partnership. No one is controlling the other. No one's doing this. You need to be on even playing field. Like, someone who's controlling is so gross. Like, you're not my parent. You're not this. Like, we are a partnership. We are equal. We do things together. We support each other equally. So I think that's the number one advice. Your relationship should be a partnership. There's no leadership role. There's no who wears the pants. I think it's a partnership. Y'all should be equal. The second advice I had is if they get mad at you every time you address something that's bothering you, let them go. And I think that is so, like, I can't stress that enough. Literally, like I said, when I was having problems with my friends, we talked it out and we're completely fine. I think if you bring up something that someone did that bothers you and they automatically just get defensive, don't even acknowledge that they did anything wrong, that you have to let them go. No matter how much you love them and care about them, you have to let them go, because that will just be a stress your whole entire life if you just can't even bring anything up to them without them getting upset or mad. So those are my 2 pieces of advice. It's a partnership. Y'all are on even playing fields. And if you can't bring up anything that's bothering you to them without them making you feel bad, let them go, because that is not someone you need to be with for the rest of your life. You need someone that can openly communicate with you healthily without yelling, getting mad, accusing you of something, gaslighting. If you're like, what you did really bothered me, and they're like, they flip it on you and try and make it this whole thing, like, you are a fucking crazy ass weirdo. Bye. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I absolutely loved making it. I will definitely do a part 2 in the future. I also want to do just a regular Q&A episode like this, where I just open the floor to anything. It's not just questions related to relationships, just any questions at all. So I'll definitely do a random Q&A somewhere down the line. And thank you again so much for submitting the responses. This episode was only possible with your guys' help. And please go down, hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on. Please share my podcast. That would really help me out a lot. All my socials will be in the description: my Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me everywhere. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did making it. And I will see you guys on next week's episode. Have a good day. Bye.